I noticed your Ukraine sign. Tell me why you're here today.
I used to teach social studies and know that America has for so long been a defender of democracy, or at least other lesser nations in the world, to not be supporting Ukraine when they are doing the fighting, and we just simply need to supply the materials and money to help support them fight a much larger foe like Russia, like Putin particularly, is critical, because we'll end up right back in another world war if Putin is allowed to spread his reign of terror. And I think he's very opportunistic. I think that Trump is unfortunately a fan of Putin's and would love to be a Putin. And so, in my mind, they kind of go together. If we will support Ukraine, and even we seem to be fairly unanimous, both parties, in wanting to support Ukraine, then I think it will give our country a better focus about how to be much more, the word I'm looking for,
cohesive?
Cohesive is a good word. It's a bipartisan effort, and I think those are always good. Unfortunately, Trump came into office looking like he was going to basically just sell Ukraine down the road. It hasn't happened, fortunately. I don't believe that's because he's a great negotiator. I believe it's just because happenstance, and Russia pissed him off. And so, for whatever great reason, he at the moment is supporting, or at least not throwing Ukraine over to the wolves. That and many other domestic issues I feel are critical. Most importantly, and I respect conservative and Republican policy. It's not my favorite, but I respect it when it's done. When it is done within the legal system, within the Congress, President passes whatever the Congress sends him or vetoes it, whatever. That's how laws work. Laws don't work by the president saying this is what we're going to do, and then going and doing it with no restraint. And I feel like he has no restraint, and the less restraint he's given or provided, the further he's going to go. And if he is allowed to not have due process with immigrants, he's eventually going to turn it on his political adversaries, and we're going to have a Putin here. And I don't think it's that far-fetched. We like to think that we're America and these things don't happen to us, but yeah, they can.
What kind of world do you want to live in when we get through this time?
I would say, where we were before Trump is, we had issues. Obviously, we're democracy. I love people who look at our country and say, you know what? It's a process. It's a messy process. It's not supposed to be perfect. If it were, then one side would always be running amok over the other side. And so, those who say that we shouldn't compromise, that we should get what we want, what our side wants, is a foolishness of endeavor from either side. I think compromise is what is the grand scheme of our country, and so I would like to get back to a place where we think of ourselves as Americans, we hash out our differences, we come up with solutions, or not, maybe the way things are.
Kick the can down the road.
Kick the can down the road, but that is done within the context of an agreed upon legal structure. And Trump is, by demoralizing the press and what we think about the press and the truth and the law, is fashioning himself to become a dictator and or his followers. I don't think that whoever follows Trump will have nearly the presence or the following that he has. I think he's maybe not a one-shot deal, and he certainly brought his side out and given
He's got the cult of personality.
He does.
That song was in my head this morning.
Yes, and when he's gone, even if he were to pass away in office, which I don't wish upon him, but I think that his followers would have not nearly the power they think they would. They wouldn't be as cohesive. The other angst I have, is particularly seeing these trucks drive around here, is that men need to find a way to be more compassionate and human and compromising and ethical. Because I think we've kind of given ourselves reign to be, or permission to be, try to suppress or keep in place things that need to change. And I think that is a large reason why Trump has gotten so popular. It's a kick back against what's happening to the world and to our nation.
They don't want women to have rights. They don't want gay people to have
people.
rights. They don't want to see racial groups get progress.
Correct. Wealth,
yeah.
power, and they are getting it, whether they like it or not. And if they would learn to not play with them, but if they would learn to work with them,
right,
they'll have a much better society. But to demonize them and try to hold them down is wrong. And as a white male, I find it embarrassing. We have so much,
right,
and we don't want to give it up, and we're afraid we're going to lose it, and that people are going to take it away.
Right.
By we, I specifically mean
dudes?
Males. Families in general have a lot too, and I think that's why a lot of women are very supportive of what.
Well, right, they have to support the structure that supports them.
And that's, people need their structures, but at the loss of somebody else, or at the hurtfulness to someone else, then it's not right.